Hello everybody, this is my first shot at doing a little screencast-o-matic and kind of like the narrated presentations for you guys, but this is going to be our approach to the school year. I'm going to give a shot at trying to do the flipped classroom. So what that means essentially is that you guys are going to have access to all of my in-class materials. PowerPoints, videos, forms, slides, paperwork, any of that stuff you guys are going to be able to have 100% access to, so long as you can get on a computer or a phone or anything like that. And that's the goal. So the first thing I wanted to do, outside of introducing myself, how you doing? For those that don't know me, I'm Mr. Butler. I've been teaching here for the last 3 years. Got 3 subjects this year, which is going to be world history, U.S. history, high stakes, EOC class, right? And then my fun section this year is going to be this cyber education course, or cyber literacy, which is a pretty cool deal we'll get into. But those are my 3 classes, so it'll be a full year. And let's go ahead and get started with this presentation, which is all about classroom procedures, okay? So what is a procedure, right? A procedure is the way that we do things. They're put in place for our classroom so you'll know what's expected of you guys on a daily basis. And this is going to give us the opportunity to put all of our attention on doing what we're supposed to do here, right? Which is get you guys where you need to be educationally. And over the last 3 years, we bumped our school performance score from a 39 to now, I think when the new report drops, we'll be in the 70s. So those guys that were freshmen 3 years ago, or really even 4 years ago, up until now, have done a tremendous amount to move the school forward, and we want to keep that going. Classroom and academic expectations. I keep it simple, right? For me, respect is kind of my big deal. So the atmosphere that I want in this class is going to be formal, but comfortable, right? Students are going to be expected to work hard, learn, and enjoy that process. So let's talk about language, right? It's my thing. I understand it. Profanity is an issue up here, but I am making it a personal mission to crack down on that. So you will literally be graded on your vocabulary every single week. This is going to be a 2-pronged approach with an academic vocabulary. Let me go back one. Sorry, guys. With an academic vocabulary quiz on Fridays and an accompanying classroom participation grade for the week. So yes sir, no sir, pleases and thank yous are going to serve you guys really well in life, and as well as in this class, okay? So moving on, right? Be on time. I'm going to shut the door after the tardy bell and start the class. After I've taken roll and gotten the class started, then I will let you in. Absolutely do not continue to knock on that door. A single bonus question is kind of like a quiz is going to be offered on days that tardiness is becoming an issue. Okay, so to prompt students, or reward students for their efforts for being where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there, I'm going to give them a ridiculously easy bonus question, like who was the leader of Germany during World War II. Everybody and their mother should say Hitler, right? You don't even have to walk into my class to know that Hitler was in charge of the Nazi party in Germany's in World War II. And that's really all it's intended to do is to reward folks who are doing what they're supposed to do and negatively reinforce those folks who are tardy without excuses. But anyway, we had fun with this last year. If you guys still keep in touch with Darian Kennedy or Kaneda or any of those guys, we kind of ended up turning that into a little thing. I'll tell you about it later. But be attentive and follow directions. No head down. No Snapchat, Instagram, social media scrolling in my class. Our success is symbiotic, so I will not tolerate deliberate distractions. And this is what I mean by a symbiotic relationship. My professional success is predicated on your academic success. If you fail, I fail. If I fail, you fail, right? So we have to do this thing together. And between the two of us, I've kind of been in your seat before. So I certainly have the wherewithal to have a little bit more, like discipline as it relates to kind of sticking to what we need to do procedurally to ensure you guys' academic success. So hang with me, and we'll get through it, and maybe possibly have some fun during some of it, right? Here's my other little thing. Don't complain, man. Don't be a whiner. No negativity. I don't want that stuff around me. It's not good. It's contagious, and it poisons the atmosphere. So if you've ever heard that phrase, fake it till you make it, do it in here, man. Positive mindsets are required in this classroom. You go look at any of your super duper athletes out there, and they're going to tell you the same thing. Negativity will suck the life out of you, and that's not going to happen in our class. So check that at the door. Ask relevant questions. This is what I mean by being an active participant. Answer questions when asked. Propose new ideas. And absolutely do not criticize other students' questions or answers. All right? I'm gonna reiterate that because that falls under my big umbrella of respect. Okay? Relevant questions. If we are talking about, we'll keep the World War II theme for a minute. If we're talking about World War II and you guys ask me something about the space race, unless there's a stretch there and you're pulling something that I don't know about, that really doesn't pertain to what we're talking about in World War II, at least in that moment, right? So stay on point, okay? Stay on point, and we'll be able to maximize all of the time that we have in class. Classroom materials. Here's the deal, right? I've been saying this for years, so I'm going to follow through this year. Blue or black pen or a pencil. If you don't have anything to write with, you may borrow. All right, get ready for it. A crayon. Here's the deal. This is going to be my reminder that you weren't prepared for class, and your daily grade's going to reflect that, okay? You guys, I don't know. I've seen students up here over the years literally bring nothing to school, right? And you can put these guys in a group, and you can put those folks in a group who are prepared, and you're always going to have that prepared group consistently scoring higher on high-stakes exams. And that's where I need you guys to be. So bring something to write on. I'm not particular about this so long as you have something to take notes or turn in work. If you don't have anything, you can borrow some construction paper from me. Now follow up what I'm doing here. This is going to be my reminder that you weren't prepared for class, and your daily grade is going to reflect that. So if you come in here with nothing, right, I'm going to give you something to write with and write on. But you're going to end up with crayons and construction paper, right? Because we're trying to model life in the real world in here, and you don't go to work unprepared. So you don't come to this class unprepared, or it'll show. Moving on. We got a U.S. history textbook, so I'm going to have a world history textbook. And then I don't really know the materials quite yet that I'm going to have for this cyber class. I'm really kind of partnered up with some district folks with our MST program on that, and then Cyber Innovation Center. So y'all hang tight. A lot of that stuff is going to most likely be digital, right? Then I'm going to have class handouts and organizers. That's the stuff that I got. And my Google Classroom. So I want y'all to kind of take a minute and look at this. My Google Classroom is going to be the repository of everything I have for y'all. I also have my teacher website, and I'll give you an example of that. But these are the resources you need. Daily procedures, right? Enter the room quickly and quietly. Check the smart board for instructions. You should immediately begin to bell ringer, right? Get on that thing with a quickness. If you come in and immediately begin talking or staring at the wall, you're wrong, and you're going to fall behind. Athletes, take notice. Let me say this one more time. Athletes, band, auxiliary. You want to participate in this school in any way, take notice. You will not be given a reprieve if you cannot maintain eligibility. No bonus work, right? Out of what I already said about the little, tardy procedures or whatever. You get class work every day. You come in here, you screw up today, cool. We're in class a lot, right? Come back tomorrow ready to go. Over time, that's going to show. What will also show is that over time, if you come in jacked up repeatedly, there's going to be a pattern that's there, and you're not going to correct that or change that by coming in here December the 15th and being like, hey, can I write a paper? No, go on, get out, turn around, go talk to your coach, right? This is also the time that I'm going to check you guys for dress code. Now, this is not my thing, man. I am, neither here nor there on dress code. And you'll catch it when you get to college, right? People don't care about that stuff. But it's our deal. And there's a legitimate, reason behind it here in Caddo why we do that stuff. But look, here's the deal. It's a rule. This is my job. I'm not going to have my, raters and principals and assistant principals coming in here checking me because my kids are out of line. So, if the dress code is a certain way and you're out of that prescribed dress code, I'm going to check you for it. And if it's something that we have to do every day, and every day I'm hemming you up for ridiculousness, right? Weed socks, tucking your shirt in, whatever. It's not, we're going to already set up to be in a bad relationship, and I don't want to do that, right? So don't make that our issue. Pick another issue to have with me, right? But dress code isn't one of them. Dress code and respect, shelf that. We ought to be cool on those things, so that's kind of really it, right? But please, sweet Jesus, do not make this an issue, all right? We got a limited amount of time together, which I need to prepare at least my U.S. history guys for their end-of-course assessment. And failure to respect that time is going to result in a negative infraction on you. You disrespect my time, I'm going to disrespect yours. That's our relationship. You respect my time, I'm going to respect your time. You have positive attitudes with me, I'm going to have positive attitude with you. That's what I mean by symbiotic relationship. We're gonna do good. Don't sweat it. Bell ringers, right? It is what it is, right? You walk into this class, you sit down, you look at the board, read what it says, and get to work. Don't wait for me. Write down the question on your answer sheet and then record your answer. You don't have to wait for me. That's why it's called a bell ringer. You're supposed to do this stuff before the bell rings, right? Or at least get started on it before the bell rings. So that's that. When you are tardy, right? Enter the room quietly. If you have a tardy slip, don't make me ask for it. Just give it to me. No excuses there. Unexcused tardies will result in a J campus entry as such. You're not excused from any work you miss, right? If you're tardy, right? Get the assignment from a classmate or my Google Classrooms. I know on here it says absent folder, right, and completed at home, but a lot of my stuff is digital, and you're going to be able to see what we do every day, no matter what day it is. When you're tardy, enter quietly. Did I just say this? Yeah. All right, move on. During instruction, now this is kind of a big deal too, right? Make sure you read or listen to the directions with full attention. No pencil sharpening, talking, or whispering while I'm lecturing or explaining a task. Don't write while I'm giving you instruction. You're going to be given time for note taking. And only ask questions related to the topic. But here's the deal, guys. This is why I'm particular about this one. When I'm giving instruction, I'm telling you how to do something. If you're jumping ahead or you're not paying attention, you're going to end up going back and having to ask me what we need to do. And if I got a classroom with 25 plus people in here, you can pull off at least 3 or 4 that are going to be doing that. And it chips away at our time in class. So whenever I'm giving you guys instruction, I'm talking about like how to do something. Eyes and ears on me. Okay? That's it. That's all I got. Listening to and responding to questions. When we're having class discussions, raise your hand. Just use generically appropriate behavior, right? That's the universal signal for, hey, look at me, right? Raise your hand. I'll call on you before speaking. Now, this is going to pop off as an issue because typically I've kind of let it slip in the past, but blurting out answers, it's no bueno. Actively listen to whoever's speaking. Ask only relevant questions, right? So again, you're seeing me keep saying the same thing here. And be respectful, right? I want a bunch of Aretha Franklins in here, right? R-E-S-P-E-C-T, the whole way through my class. Especially if they're different from yours and you don't agree with them. That's just life, okay? While you're working, what are we going to do while you're working? If you don't understand, raise your hand and politely ask for help, and I'll come hook you up. If you're authorized to work in small groups, you got to be aware of the collective noise levels. This is an issue for me too, right? If you get group work, self-police that action. If you guys get too loud and out of hand, I'm going to crack down on that, all Use your time wisely. We got a prescribed amount of work to do, and it's going to be up to you to determine how much of that turns into homework. Our work is already listed. It's there. The state of Louisiana says you guys got to learn X amount of material. So that is what it is. I can't change that. You can't change that. How much of that gets accomplished in class is absolutely up to me and you, right? You also have some say in that, because if it doesn't get done in class because of behavioral issues or lack of attention or focus or whatever, you're still going to be responsible for it, just not in this class. It's going to be in your own bedroom or whatever. I don't know, after school, library, something. All right, getting your attention, right? I'm going to work on raising my voice. Sometimes our student body can make me, what do y'all say, drove, right? For real. And then that Shreveport Ratchet say, I had this big joking thing. I'm kind of going off of, my students last year. Me and Kaneda Johnson had this thing. But it does, right? I'm a person too. So little attitudes and whatever can kind of set me off. I'm going to try to keep that checked at the door as well. And I assure you, I'm going to do my best to do that. So help me out, though, right? You help me out, and I'm going to help you out. When I raise my hand, if I flick the light switch, if I pause the video, if I turn off the projector, if I do any other attention-getting thing, right? You guys need to stop whatever it is you're doing and face me and wait, right? Silently wait until we move on to the next thing. Because I'm telling you, this is just like a physics class, right? Everything has an equal and opposite reaction. If you guys get out of hand, right, it's not just going to fly by. If you guys get out of hand, there will be a consequence to getting out of hand. And it's probably going to show up in negative reinforcement, right? Stuff that you don't like. Document-based questions, writing assignments, reading assignments, stuff like that. And look, I don't want to do that either. Or I don't want to be too heavy on that, because then I got to go back and read it and grade it. That's extra work for me too. So keep that in mind, right? So we can kind of move through this stuff. Student work. Each are responsible for completing the assignments. I will not give you less work for the same grade as a student who comes to class every day and busts their butt. If you miss an assignment, it's going to be on you to get that back to me. I will not track you down. No sirree. You'll have digital access to every single thing we cover in this classroom. No excuses, right? Again, no bonus work. You're not going to get bonus from me. You got enough regular work. Do that. Do that first and then come talk to me. There's plenty of opportunity to earn points with regular attendance and daily participation. If you got attendance issues, I am not the attendance office, right? So don't talk to me about your attendance issues outside of like, hey, Mr. Butler, I'm not going to be here. Oh, I broke my leg yesterday, or whatever it is. But the official corrections to attendance don't come through me. That goes down through Miss Abercrombie, okay? Assessments, right? This is where it's at. Tests and quizzes come from material presented and discussed during class. You're expected to copy notes from the smartboard during discussions. You're going to have access to all this material, like I've said before. If you're absent before a test, you're going to be expected to take an alternate or make up, right, at a teacher-approved time. So I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know if that's going to be like, a paper format or something like that. I will definitely make it, such that it's not the same thing that you're missing. It'll be the same material, but you're going to get it in a different format. It wouldn't be fair to have kids come in, take the test, and then leave, and then kind of feed that information back to you on what it's like, so you get better scores than the folks that were hustling up front. I'm not going to do that. So alternate tests are typically a bit more difficult, so that should be enough to encourage you guys to be here when you're supposed to be for major tests. I think it's about a third of your grade, right? Tests, actual exams are about 1/3 of your grade in here. After you're done, check your work in the directions one more time. There's a proofreading, right? See if you missed anything or did something incorrectly. If the assignment's to be turned in, do so in the correct basket. I got them all over there by the door. You can kind of check that out. When you finish work early, okay, do you? Well, I don't know. Do what you need to do. Read what we're going over. Re-go over something. Study. Look at vocabulary. Organize your notes. Get ahead on homework. If you can't do this on your own and you become a classroom distraction in that regard, I'm going to give you something to do, right? To me, it would make more sense if you kind of, have the wherewithal to kind of self-regulate. instead of having me regulate that for you. But whatever, right? That's kind of where we are. So consider that fair warning. Leaving the classroom, guys. This is going to be my pet peeve, right? Leaving the classroom. Last year, regularly, folks were just trashing the class, man. Paper crap everywhere, leaving bottles around like you've already finished drinking. It's not going to be a thing, especially hot food. I'm going to put this out right now. People that got folks going off campus and bringing food back onto campus for you better skip my class. Don't bring no hot, stinking food in my class. I'm going to say it now. It's going to irritate me. No food and drink in my class, okay? From time to time, maybe I'll bring some stuff for y'all. That's kind of like a separate deal. I'm talking about every day, no fruities, no food, chips, drink, none of that. You better do that somewhere else. You got to leave the class like you found it. If my class starts to get trashed up, we're going to start having negative consequences for that. Probably in the form of assignments that you don't want to do, okay? So homework, right? Check my calendar. I'm going to be sharing a calendar with you guys in Google. In my classrooms, you can kind of see it on the board here. I'll be able to go in more in depth and different ways that you can access that stuff. I'm heavy on Quizlet as well. Make sure that you turn in the work for the deadlines that are listed. Late work is not going to be accepted without a doctor or parent's note or an individual excuse from you guys. So if you own straight up like, hey, I just didn't do it, man, I forgot. I had work until midnight. I had whatever it is. That's an excuse, right? I got a digital form for late work submissions. You put that down in there for me. Keep a recording of that, and I'll give you partial credit for it, up to a point. But again, life does not reward folks for not being and completing things on time. So neither will I. Missing work. Here's the deal. If your assignment's not complete when it's due, you got to complete, again, a student responsibility report in my Google Classroom. This is going to be the only way for you to attain partial credit, okay? That's it. What happens is in J Campus, when you miss my work, I will literally go in and put a 0 in there. I'm going to go in and put a 0. And I don't give you guys zeros, by the way, on my grading policy. An F is, I will give you, like mid-range F. Right, I don't know what that is, 65, so I'll put in a 60 F instead of a 0, because you can recover from a 60 and it's still an F, so a failure's a failure, right? But if you don't turn anything in, nothing, right? You're getting a 0. And then we'll go back to look at that late work submission for partial credit to kind of get you back up, if you do it the way I've asked. And let's see, that's it, guys. We're all good. So if you have any questions, just leave some comments in here. You guys should have access rights to kind of comment on any of this stuff. Suggestions, I'm open to suggestions as well. Keep them classy there. And looking forward to a good year. So deuces, everybody. Peace out.